Everybody has the steps in front of them, but if you're shying away from taking the action right now, that's you giving into the stress, that's you giving into the pressure, and proving to yourself that you're not good enough. Oh, hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Monday morning. Zander Fryer, CEO and founder of High Impact Coaching here, aka Naked Batman. I wanted to give you a quick little Monday morning motivation today, but before I dig into that, I wanted to ask you, do you think stress is a bad thing? Do you think stress is a bad thing? Go ahead and comment below. How's it going, everybody? Go ahead and comment below. Yes or no? Do you think stress is a bad thing? Now, the reason that I wanted to dig into this now, I'm a big Elijah. How's it going, man? I'm a big gym junkie, right? I like to go to the gym, and one of the things that you learn when you go. When you first start learning about working out, learning about how to build muscle, and what it actually takes to build muscle, to get stronger, to grow, to get better, right? There's something called time under tension. There's something called time under tension. And this is a principle that you learn when you start working out regularly, right? Is that time under tension, this is the time when your muscles are under tension. So the time when you're doing a curl and your muscle is under tension, when you've got the weight on your arm and you're pulling it up or lowering it down, the time under tension is stress. This is stress. This is stressing the muscle. It's causing it to get little micro tears in the muscle that are actually causing it to grow, that are actually causing it to get bigger, right? So when you tear the muscle slightly, it regrows stronger and bigger. Same thing whenever you get, if you've heard of, whenever you break a bone, the bone actually, when it heals, it condenses and densifies and actually grows back stronger than it was before. All right. The reason that I want to share this with you guys is because even though, as I can see, a lot of everybody is saying, no, stress is not a bad thing. You're right. Stress is not actually a bad thing. All right. Yet so many of us do everything that we can to avoid stress, to avoid pressure. Now, I want you to think about that for just a second, because if you're telling yourself like, oh, I go straight on after pressure, I go straight on after stress, right? If you're believing that, that's a good thing. But I highly, highly doubt you do that 100% of the time. So I want you to get real for a second. I want you to get real. Have you ever run away from stress? Have you ever looked for comfort? I bet you have. I bet you might actually be doing it right now. You might be running from stress. Elijah's saying, I try to avoid stress. Even though we know consciously that stress is a bad thing, we run from stress. But here's something that I want you to understand. If you want to grow, you say you want to grow. As a coach, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, in your relationships, as a husband, as a wife, yet you run from stress. If you run from stress, you will never grow. You will never have the time under tension that you need to get bigger, stronger, faster, and better. There's only one way to grow a muscle. It's to put time under tension. It's to stress the muscle. Now, the same thing happens in your business. The same thing happens with your mind, with your commitment, with your devotion, with your determination, your resiliency, your relentlessness. If you never stress yourself, if you never pressure test, you will never grow and you will never get better. So if you're avoiding stress right now, I want to offer you something. There are two types of stress, right? There's something called distress, and there's something called eustress. Paul is saying nice muscles. Damn right, I work on these things. Time under tension, right? There's something called distress, and there's something called eustress. Distress comes from what I call worry. Stress and worry are not the same thing. Stress is required to grow, to get better, to get bigger. Worry is not required. Worry creates distress. This is the type of stress that causes you to become immobile, that causes you to stop acting, that does not cause you to grow. This is distress. And this stems from worry. This stems from in our mind, stressing about things that do not exist yet, things that have not come to pass, or things that are in our past. This is distress. Distress is what prevents you from moving forward. But eustress is what causes you to grow. It's what causes you to become a better person. It actually pulls you into action. It motivates, it inspires, it pushes you forward. That's eustress. Now, here's the interesting thing. The only difference between distress and eustress is a story you tell yourself in your head. Your body physically reacts the same way to distress and eustress. But the only difference is the story you tell yourself in your head. Is stress a good thing or a bad thing? Is this stress helping me get better, helping me get there, helping me grow myself, my business, my muscles, whatever it is? That's the difference between distress and eustress. Because the truth is, if you realize it, pressure is a privilege. And the longer you spend trying to avoid the pressure, is you settling for mediocre. Because where you're at right now, the only way for you to get to where you want to be, you have to grow. And if you have to grow to get to where you want to be, you have to pressure test yourself. You have to stress yourself, your mind, your commitment, your devotion, your relentlessness, your resiliency. You have to pressure test yourself to become better. And if you're not willing to pressure test yourself, then you don't deserve the business that you're asking for. You don't deserve a bigger impact. If you're willing to become a little bit stressed, to grow yourself, become bigger and better, you don't deserve that business. You don't deserve to help thousands of people. If you can't get over your own bullshit, how can you expect to help them? You need to become the leader that you need to become to handle the stress, to handle the pressure. And the only way that you're going to do that is to pressure test. The only way that you're going to do that is to put yourself more into the stress zone, the time under tension, right? Stress can either cause you to explode, or stress can turn coal into diamonds. Pressure turns coal into diamonds. But if you shy away from pressure, you're never going to become that gem. You're never going to become the person that you need to become to actually get to where you want to go. So I want you to comment right now. I want you guys to comment right now. What % of the time are you actually looking to be put under pressure? Be honest, on a scale of 1 to 100%, what % of the time are you actually looking to be put under pressure? Because the best in the world are constantly seeking to be putting themselves under more pressure, more consistently, because they know that they'll grow faster. The faster you grow, the faster you'll get there. And if you're not willing to put yourself under pressure to get there, if you're shying away from stress, if every time you get butterflies in your stomach or your heart beats faster, you want to run away, you want to stop, you want to quit, you're running. You're running from success. You're running from greatness. And that's your choice. We need to embrace discomfort. We need to embrace stress. We need to embrace the pressure. What % of the time do you actually seek pressure? Comment below. What % of the time do you actually seek pressure? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself, because I would bet there's a lot of times that you're not seeking pressure. You're seeking comfort. Anytime that you feel stressed and you try and find a way to alleviate it by doing less, by making an excuse, by doing something that doesn't take you full steam forward ahead, that's you running from the pressure rather than embracing it. Comment below what % of the time, right? And now I want you to think about, what is that one thing that you need to do today? What is that one thing that you need to do today that might cause you a little bit of stress, might scare you a little bit, might put you under a little bit of pressure? Asking for help with something that you're scared to ask for help with. Admitting that you made a mistake and changing it, taking the scary action to fix an issue, to fix yourself. If you have the steps in front of you, like everybody who, everybody should in the information age, whether you're in this program or whether you're not, everybody has the steps in front of them. Everybody has the steps in front of them. But if you're shying away from taking the action right now, that's you giving into the stress, that's you giving into the pressure and proving to yourself that you're not good enough. I'm not going to sit here and baby you like every other life coach out there that tells you, you are good enough. You are good enough. You're not fucking good enough. Is that harsh to hear? You are not good enough. I'm not good enough. But to get good enough, we can become good enough as long as we accept that we must grow to become that person that is good enough. I'm not saying you can't become good enough. You can become good enough. I'm just telling you, you're not fucking good enough right now. So admit it. I'm not going to bullshit you and tell you that you are when you aren't. Every coach out there that's telling you that you're everything that this world needs already, they're fucking lying to you. They are lying to you. They're just saying that to make you feel good in the moment. But the truth is, all it's doing is numbing out the problem and the truth, which we are not good enough to get to that next level. Because if we were good enough to get to that next level, we would already be there. If you were good enough, you would already be there. So the first thing that you can do is admit that you're not good enough. And admit that to become good enough, you must learn, you must grow, you must get out of your comfort zone, you must put the pressure on, and you must make shit happen. If you're not ready to admit that, you're in the wrong place, because coaching is not easy. Building a highly successful coaching business and helping others, you can't do that as a mediocre person. You can't do it as a mediocre entrepreneur, and you can't do it as a mediocre man or woman in any area of your life. So if you're not stepping up your game to put yourself directly in the line of pressure, directly in the line of stress, to pressure test yourself, to grow and become better, you're never going to get there. We need to embrace stress. We need to live stress, love stress. We're running away from it. But the truth is, be grateful. You've got a roof over your head. You've got food on the table. You've got people who love you. And you have the opportunity to do much, much more than you do right now. And if you run from that opportunity, that's you choosing weakness. That's you choosing mediocre over impact. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.